The observation deck was on the top level of the space station. June took the lift up, trying not to think about his lost job. The lift doors opened to reveal a large circular room with windows all around. The view was breathtaking. Earth filled half the sky, blue and white and perfect. Stars shone in the blackness beyond. Ships of all sizes moved in and out of the station, their lights blinking in the distance. Only a few people were on the deck at this hour. June looked around for the woman who had called him. He spotted a slim figure standing alone by one of the windows. She turned as he approached, and June saw a woman about his age wearing the dark blue uniform of the Earth Diplomatic Office. "June?" she asked with a smile. "I'm Yuna, thank you for coming." June nodded cautiously. "Your call was unexpected." "I understand," Yuna said. She gestured to a nearby bench. "Shall we sit?" They sat down facing the windows. For a moment, they both looked out at Earth in silence. "So," June said at last, "why did you ask me here? What's this about?" Yuna turned to look at him directly. "I was having lunch at Celestial Plate when I saw what you did for Ambassador Krill." June winced. "And now I don't have a job." "Yes, I saw that too. Your manager was harsh." "He was following the rules," June said with a shrug. "I knew I wasn't supposed to interfere." "But you did anyway," Yuna said. "Why?" June thought about it. "He needed help. I couldn't just watch him struggle. It didn't seem right." "Even though you knew it might cost you your job?" "I didn't think about that at the time," June admitted. "I just acted." Yuna nodded as if he had confirmed something she already knew. "Do you know much about the Moradins, June?" "Just what everyone knows. They're proud, powerful, don't like to accept help. They control important trade routes. They have technology we want." "All true," Yuna said. "But there's much more to them than that. The Moradins are one of the oldest species in the Galactic Alliance. They've been exploring space for over 1,000 years. In that time, they've met countless other species." "Okay," June said, not sure where this was going. "But what does that have to do with me?" Yuna leaned forward. "The Moradins have a very structured society. Honor and self-sufficiency are their highest values. Showing weakness is shameful. Needing help is shameful. But, and this is important, age is deeply respected." She looked out the window again. "What you saw today was a conflict in their cultural values. Ambassador Krill is old and his age commands respect. But his physical weakness brings shame. The other Moradins couldn't help him without causing him to lose face, but watching him struggle and doing nothing was also disrespectful to his age and status. So they were stuck, June realized. They couldn't help, but they couldn't not help." "Exactly. And then you came along?" Yuna smiled. "You offered help in a way that gave him dignity. You didn't make a big show of it. You didn't point out his weakness. You shared a story about your own grandmother, making it about shared experience rather than his inability. You gave him a tool, knowledge, rather than doing it for him." June shrugged. "It seemed like the right thing to do." "It was. More right than you know." Yuna looked at her comm device. "I need to tell you something important, but first I think you should see this." She tapped her device and a hologram appeared between them. It showed the interior of a spaceship. The design was clearly Moradin, all curved lines and deep blues. Several Moradins sat around a table, including the elderly Ambassador Krill who June had helped earlier. Are you spying on them?" June asked, shocked. Yuna shook her head. "No, this is a diplomatic feed. The Moradins know we can see this. It's a courtesy for official discussions between our governments. Just watch." In the hologram, Ambassador Krill was speaking to a younger Moradin. Their voices were translated by Yuna's device. "The human showed true compassion," Ambassador Krill was saying. "He knew our customs, yet he chose to help me anyway, at personal cost." "But Ambassador," the younger Moradin replied, "one human's actions cannot represent an entire species." "Can't they?" Krill asked. "In 300 years of interstellar relations, how many times has any being from any species shown genuine compassion to a Moradin elder without expecting political favor in return?" The younger Moradin was silent. "I will tell you," Krill continued. Not once. Until today." He raised one of his 4 hands, which still trembled slightly. "This human saw need and filled it. Not for advantage, not for recognition. Simply because it was, as he might say, the right thing to do." Another Moradin spoke up. "The human was penalized for his actions. His supervisor terminated his employment." "Yes," Krill said. "He sacrificed his livelihood to help me. Does that not speak to the character of these humans? The hologram flickered and disappeared. Huna put her comm device away. "What you saw," she said, "was the Grand Elder of the Moradin Interstellar Council defending humanity to his advisors. Ambassador Krill isn't just any Moradin, he's their leader. The highest authority in their entire civilization." June felt his mouth go dry. "I had no idea." "Of course not. How could you? But now you understand why I contacted you." June shook his head. "I still don't understand what any of this has to do with me. So I helped an important alien and got fired. End of story, right?" "Not quite," Una said. "The Moradins have been watching humanity for decades. Ever since we developed faster-than-light travel and joined the interstellar community, they've been evaluating us." "Evaluating us for what?" "For membership in the Galactic Alliance." June had heard of the Galactic Alliance. It was a coalition of advanced species that shared technology, resources, and protection. Earth had been trying to join for years, but the process was slow. The Alliance had strict requirements for new members, and humanity hadn't met them all yet. "The Galactic Alliance requires member species to demonstrate certain qualities," Una continued. "Most species try to show their worthiness through technology or military strength or economic power. But the Moradins value something else entirely." "Compassion?" June guessed. "Compassion without calculation," Una corrected. "The ability to do the right thing even when it's difficult or costly. They believe that any species advanced enough to travel between stars must have the wisdom to use that power responsibly. And to them that wisdom begins with compassion." June laughed, but there was no humor in it. "So you're telling me that humanity's chance to join the Galactic Alliance hinges on me helping an old alien eat his dinner?" "I'm telling you that your simple act of kindness may have just advanced humanity's position considerably," Una said seriously. "The Moradins have been testing us, June, watching to see how we treat those who need help. Your actions today were the first time they've seen a human show true compassion without any ulterior motive." "But that's crazy," June protested. "Humans help each other all the time. We help strangers. We donate to charities. We volunteer. Yes, but the Moradins haven't seen that side of us. In official negotiations, they see politicians and diplomats who are always calculating advantage. In business dealings, they see traders and merchants focused on profit. Even in scientific exchanges, there's always an underlying motive of gaining knowledge or technology. So they needed to see someone who wasn't trying to get anything from them," June realized. "Exactly. Someone who would help simply because help was needed." Una's comm device buzzed. She glanced at it and frowned. "We don't have much time. I've just received word that Ambassador Krill has requested a meeting with Earth's diplomatic team, and he's specifically asked for you to be present." "Me? But I'm not a diplomat. I was just a waiter." "You are the first human who has truly impressed the Moradins," Una said. "That makes you very important right now." "This is crazy," June muttered. "I can't meet with important aliens. I don't know anything about diplomacy." "You know more than you think," Una said. "You navigated a complex cultural situation perfectly earlier today. You showed respect while also showing compassion. That's the essence of good diplomacy." June was about to argue further when his own comm device buzzed. The ID on the screen made his heart skip. It was from the office of the Earth Space Station commander. "What's that?" Una asked, noticing his expression. "A message from Commander Park's office," June said, his voice hollow with disbelief. "They want me to come to the diplomatic wing immediately." Una nodded. "It's starting already. The Moradins move quickly when they're interested in something." She stood up. "I'll take you there." "But I don't understand what they want from me," June said, not moving from the bench. "I'm nobody important." "You're the human who showed the Moradins that humanity is worthy of consideration," Una said. She held out her hand to him. "Come on. This is a good thing, June. Your kindness may have just opened a door that Earth's diplomats have been trying to get through for decades." June stared at her hand for a moment, then slowly took it and stood up. "I still think this is crazy." "The craziest part," Una said as they walked toward the lift, "is that you have no idea how important this really is. The Galactic Alliance isn't just about trade and technology. It's about protection, too. Protection from what? There are dangers in the galaxy that Earth isn't ready to face alone," Una said quietly. "The Alliance provides security for all its members. Without that security," she didn't finish the sentence. The diplomatic wing of the space station was different from the public areas June was used to. The floors were covered in soft, dark blue carpet. The walls were decorated with artwork from Earth and other planets. The lighting was gentle, creating a calm atmosphere. Yuna led June through the large doors. Inside was a meeting room with a round table. Several people were already there. June recognized Commander Park, the head of the space station, a stern woman with short gray hair. Next to her sat 3 people in diplomatic uniforms similar to Yuna's. On the other side of the table were 4 Moradins, including Ambassador Krill. Everyone turned to look as they entered. June felt his face grow hot with embarrassment. He was still wearing his casual clothes, not fancy enough for this important meeting. "Ah, here he is," Commander Park said, standing up. "June, thank you for coming so quickly." June bowed slightly, not sure what else to do. "Commander, I'm not sure why I'm here." "Please sit down," Commander Park said, gesturing to an empty chair. "Ambassador Krill has requested your presence specifically." June sat down nervously. Yuna took a seat next to him, giving him a reassuring smile. Commander Park addressed the room. "Now that we're all here, Ambassador Krill, perhaps you could explain why you've called this meeting." The elderly Moradin nodded. His 4 hands were folded on the table in front of him, still trembling slightly. "Of course, Commander. I have come to discuss the status of humanity in relation to the Galactic Alliance." One of the human diplomats leaned forward eagerly. "Ambassador, we have prepared new reports on Earth's technological progress and resource management. We believe these demonstrate our readiness for—" Ambassador Krill raised one hand, stopping the diplomat mid-sentence. "That will not be necessary." The room fell silent. The human diplomats exchanged worried glances. Had they offended the Moradins somehow? "For 3 decades, Ambassador Krill continued, humanity has been seeking entrance to the Galactic Alliance. For 3 decades, the Moradin Interstellar Council has voted to delay your admission." Commander Park frowned. "May I ask why? Earth has met most of the technical requirements." "Technical requirements are only part of the evaluation," Ambassador Krill said. "The Alliance is not merely about technology or resources. It is about the character of a species." He turned to look directly at June, who shifted uncomfortably in his seat. "Today I witnessed something unexpected. This young human showed compassion at personal cost. He saw a need and filled it, not for gain or advantage, but simply because it was right." June felt everyone's eyes on him. His face grew even hotter. Ambassador Krill continued. "In 300 years of interaction with other species, the Moradins have developed a test. We do not announce it. We simply wait and observe. We look for acts of true compassion without calculation." "A test?" Commander Park asked. "What kind of test?" "We place ourselves in positions of vulnerability," another Moradin explained. "We observe how other species respond. Do they exploit our weakness? Do they ignore it? Or do they offer help, with respect and without expectation of reward?" "Most species fail," Ambassador Krill said. "They either see weakness as opportunity for advantage, or they are too afraid to interfere. But today," he looked at June again, "today, this human passed our test." The room was silent as everyone absorbed this information. Then Commander Park spoke. "Ambassador, are you saying that June's actions have changed your assessment of humanity?" "I am saying," Ambassador Krill replied, "that the Moradin Interstellar Council has voted to accelerate humanity's entry into the Galactic Alliance based on what we observed today." The human diplomats gasped. One of them dropped his stylus. Commander Park's eyes widened in surprise. "This is unexpected," she said carefully. "We are, of course, grateful, but—" "There is more," Ambassador Krill interrupted. "We wish for this human, June, to join the diplomatic team as a cultural advisor." Now it was June's turn to gasp. "Me? But I don't know anything about diplomacy." Ambassador Krill's large eyes focused on him. "You know what matters most. How to treat others with both respect and compassion. Many diplomats never learn this balance in their entire careers." Commander Park looked thoughtful. "This is an unusual request, Ambassador. Normally, diplomatic positions require years of training and experience." "We understand," Ambassador Krill said. But we believe this human has a natural ability that cannot be taught. We would like him to help establish new protocols for interspecies interactions. June couldn't believe what he was hearing. This morning he had been a waiter. Now aliens wanted him to be some kind of diplomat? I don't understand, he said. What would I actually do? Yuna spoke up for the first time since entering the room. You would help us develop better ways to interact with other species, particularly the Moridins. Your instincts today showed that you have a natural understanding of how to bridge cultural differences. But I only helped Ambassador Krill eat his meal, June protested. That's not the same as negotiating treaties or trade agreements. No, Ambassador Krill agreed, but it is the foundation upon which such agreements must be built. Trust, respect, compassion. Without these, no treaty has real meaning. Commander Park nodded slowly. I see merit in this idea. June, would you be willing to consider such a position? June's mind was spinning. Everything was happening so fast. I don't know. This is all so sudden. I was just fired from my job a few hours ago. We are aware, Ambassador Krill said. Your manager's decision was regrettable but understandable from his perspective. He was following established protocols. Protocols that we now see need revision. One of the human diplomats cleared his throat. If I may, Commander? This situation presents an unprecedented opportunity. The Moridins have never before requested a specific human to join diplomatic discussions. Agreed, Commander Park said. She turned to June. I understand this is overwhelming, but I hope you'll give it serious consideration. The position would come with training, of course, and a salary commensurate with diplomatic service. June thought about his mother's medical bills, about his tiny apartment in the station's residential section, about his job at the restaurant that was now gone. Then he thought about what Yuna had said earlier, that the Galactic Alliance provided protection from dangers Earth couldn't face alone. What about my mother? He asked. She needs medical care, that's why I was working at the restaurant. Commander Park's expression softened. Your mother's medical needs would be covered as part of your benefits package. Earth takes care of its diplomats and their families. Really? June couldn't hide his surprise. Really, Commander Park confirmed. And if you accept the position, you'll be assigned quarters in the diplomatic section, large enough for both you and your mother. June looked around the table. The human diplomats were watching him eagerly. Yuna gave him an encouraging nod. The Moridin sat patiently, waiting for his decision. I need some time to think about this, June said finally. It's a lot to take in. Of course, Ambassador Krill said, but do not take too long. The Galactic Alliance Council meets in one standard week to vote on humanity's accelerated membership. We would like you to be present for that historic moment. 1 week? June asked, alarmed. That's not much time. The wheels of diplomacy sometimes turn slowly, Ambassador Krill said, and sometimes very quickly indeed. Today's events have created momentum that we should not waste. Commander Park stood up. I think we've given June enough to consider for now. Ambassador Krill, would it be acceptable if he gives his answer tomorrow? That would be satisfactory, the elderly Moridin replied. Good. Commander Park looked at June. Take the evening to think it over. We'll meet again tomorrow at 1000 hours. The meeting broke up. The human diplomats gathered their tablets and notes, talking excitedly among themselves. The Moridins rose gracefully from their seats. Ambassador Krill approached June before leaving. Young human, he said quietly, I wish to thank you again for your assistance earlier today. You're welcome, Ambassador, June replied, bowing slightly. I'm glad I could help. You did more than help me eat, Ambassador Krill said. You helped me maintain my dignity. That is a gift beyond price. The old Moridin's eyes seemed to twinkle. I believe you will make an excellent diplomat, should you choose to accept the position. With that, he turned and left with the other Moridins. June stood there, still trying to process everything that had happened. Yuna touched his arm gently. Are you all right? I don't know, June said honestly. This morning I was a waiter. Now I might be a diplomat helping Earth join the Galactic Alliance. It doesn't feel real. I know it's overwhelming, Yuna said. But you really do have a gift for this, June. The way you handled the situation with Ambassador Krill was perfect. You can't teach that kind of instinct. June shook his head. I was just being kind. Anyone would have done the same. No, Yuna said firmly. They wouldn't. That's what makes you special. Commander Park approached them. June, do you have any questions before you go? 1,000, June admitted. But I don't even know where to start. Commander Park smiled. That's understandable. Yuna will help you with the details. She handed him a security card. This will give you temporary access to the diplomatic section. Use it to enter the meeting room tomorrow at 1,000 hours. Thank you, Commander, June said, taking the card. June's mother lived in a small apartment in the medical section of the space station. She had moved there 3 years ago when she was diagnosed with a rare condition that required regular treatments only available in space. June had followed her, taking the job at Celestial Plate to help pay for her care. When he entered the apartment, he found her sitting by the window reading a book. She looked up and smiled when she saw him. June, you're home early. Her smile faded when she saw his expression. What's wrong? June sat down across from her. I lost my job today, Mom. Oh no. She reached out to take his hand. What happened? June told her everything, helping Ambassador Krill, getting fired by Manager Han, meeting Yuna, and finally the meeting with Commander Park and the Moradins. As he spoke, his mother's expression changed from concern to disbelief to amazement. So now they want you to be some kind of diplomat? She asked when he finished. June nodded. A cultural advisor, they called it. Helping humans understand the Moradins better. And they'll cover my medical treatments? And give us a bigger apartment? That's what Commander Park said. His mother was quiet for a moment, thinking. Then she squeezed his hand. You should take it. Really. June was surprised. His mother had always been practical, cautious. You don't think it's too risky? I don't know anything about diplomacy. You know how to be kind, she said simply. The rest you can learn. She looked out the window at the stars. When I was young, before you were born, I dreamed of seeing other worlds, meeting beings from other planets. That dream brought me here. She turned back to him. Now you have a chance to do even more. To help Earth join the Galactic Alliance. I'm scared, June admitted. What if I make a mistake? What if I say the wrong thing and ruin everything? His mother smiled. You didn't worry about saying the wrong thing when you helped that old alien. You just did what was right. Keep doing that and you'll be fine. June thought about her words as he went to bed that night. Keep doing what was right. It sounded simple. But the stakes were so much higher now. Before he had risked his job. Now he might be risking Earth's future. He barely slept. When morning came, he dressed in his best clothes, simple but clean, and headed to the diplomatic section. The security card Commander Park had given him let him pass through checkpoints that had always been off limits to him before. At exactly 1,000 hours, he entered the meeting room. Commander Park was already there, along with Yuna and the other diplomats from yesterday. A moment later, the Moradins arrived, led by Ambassador Krill. June, Commander Park said as everyone took their seats. Have you made your decision? All eyes turned to him. June took a deep breath, remembering his mother's words. Yes, he said. I accept the position of cultural advisor. I don't know much about diplomacy, but I'm willing to learn, and I'll do my best to help Earth join the Galactic Alliance. Ambassador Krill's eyes seemed to smile, though his face remained dignified. A wise decision, young human. We are pleased. Excellent, Commander Park said. Now we have much to prepare. The Galactic Alliance Council meeting is in just 6 days. Yuna will begin your orientation immediately. The next few days passed in a blur. June and his mother moved to a spacious apartment in the diplomatic section. Her medical treatments were transferred to the diplomatic medical facility, where the care was even better than before. Yuna spent hours each day teaching June about the Galactic Alliance, its history, its members, its rules. He learned about the Moradins and the other major species that formed the Alliance's leadership. He was fitted for diplomatic uniforms, given a new comm device with special security features, and introduced to dozens of important people. Through it all, June felt like an imposter. He wasn't a diplomat. He was just a waiter who had helped an old alien eat his dinner. But whenever these doubts surfaced, he remembered his mother's words. Keep doing what's right. The rest you can learn. On the third day, something unexpected happened. June was in his new office studying information about the Galactic Alliance when his comm device buzzed. It was a message from Manager Han, his former boss at Celestial Plate. June, I've heard some strange rumors. People are saying you're working with the Moradins now, as some kind of diplomat. Is this true? Please call me. June stared at the message, not sure how to respond. Part of him wanted to ignore it. Manager Han had fired him after all. But another part, the part that had helped Ambassador Krill, couldn't be that petty. He called Manager Han back. June. Manager Han's face appeared on the screen, looking both surprised and uncomfortable. I didn't expect you to call so quickly. Hello, Manager Han, June said politely. Yes, the rumors are true. I'm working with the diplomatic team now, specifically with the Moradins. I don't understand. Manager Han frowned. How did this happen? It turns out, June said carefully, that Ambassador Krill appreciated my help that day. The Moradins had been testing humanity, watching to see if we would show compassion without expecting anything in return. Testing us? For what purpose? To see if Earth should be allowed to join the Galactic Alliance. Manager Han's eyes widened. And your actions? Helped with this? According to Ambassador Krill, yes. That's why they asked me to join the diplomatic team, to help build better understanding between our species. There was a long silence. Then Manager Han cleared his throat. June, I may have made a mistake when I fired you. You were following the rules, June said, echoing what he had told Yuna. I knew I wasn't supposed to interfere. Rules are important, Manager Han agreed, but maybe I was too rigid in how I applied them. He looked uncomfortable. The restaurant has been different since you left. The staff miss you, and some of our regular customers have asked where you are. I miss the restaurant too, June said honestly. It was a good job. Manager Han hesitated, then said, Would you consider coming back? I could give you a raise. A promotion even. June was touched by the offer, but he shook his head. Thank you, but I've accepted the diplomatic position. It's important work, and it comes with benefits that will help my mother. I understand, Manager Han said, looking disappointed but resigned. Well, if it doesn't work out, there's always a place for you at Celestial Plate. After the call ended, June sat thinking about how quickly things had changed. A week ago, he would have been overjoyed at the offer of a promotion. Now he was preparing to help Earth join the Galactic Alliance. The next day, June had his first solo meeting with Ambassador Krill. They met in a small, comfortable room with a view of Earth. You are adapting well to your new role, the elderly Moradin observed. I'm trying, June said. There's a lot to learn. Knowledge can be acquired, Ambassador Krill said. Character is what matters most. And your character, young human, is why we are here. I still don't understand why helping you with your meal was such a big deal, June admitted. Surely other humans would have done the same. Perhaps, Ambassador Krill said. But you are the first who did, and you did so knowing it might cost you your job. I didn't really think about that at the time, June said. I just saw you struggling and wanted to help. Exactly. You acted from compassion, not calculation. The old Moradin's eyes seemed to look far away. In the early days of the Galactic Alliance, many terrible mistakes were made. Species with advanced technology but undeveloped ethics caused great harm. The Moradins learned that technology without compassion is dangerous. So you test species to see if they're compassionate before letting them join the Alliance? Yes. We have found it to be a reliable indicator of how a species will behave once they have access to more advanced technologies. June thought about this. So my helping you with your meal somehow proved that humans as a species are compassionate? Not entirely, Ambassador Krill admitted. One individual's actions cannot prove the character of an entire species. But it gives us hope. It shows us what humans are capable of. He leaned forward. And now we wish to see if more humans can learn from your example. The day of the Galactic Alliance Council meeting arrived. A special ship came to the space station to transport the diplomatic team to the Alliance headquarters, which orbited a distant star. June, Yuna, Commander Park, and several other human diplomats boarded along with the Moradians. The ship was like nothing June had ever seen. It moved through space in ways that human ships couldn't, taking shortcuts through what Ambassador Krill called folded space. The journey, which would have taken human ships years, was completed in hours. When they arrived, June could barely believe his eyes. The Galactic Alliance headquarters was a massive structure floating in space. It looked like a giant flower with petals extending outward from a central hub. Each petal, Ambassador Krill explained, was built by a different member species reflecting their unique architecture and culture. They docked at the central hub and were escorted to the council chamber. The room was enormous, with seating for hundreds of delegates from different worlds. At the center was a circular platform where speakers could address the entire assembly. June took his place with the Earth delegation, feeling very small and out of place. Around them were beings of all shapes and sizes, some humanoid, others completely alien. Some floated in special tanks of liquid. Others wore environmental suits to survive in the atmosphere that most species breathed. 6 months had passed since Earth joined the Galactic Alliance. The changes had been both subtle and profound. New technologies were being shared with Earth scientists. Alien tourists were visiting Earth in greater numbers. Human students were studying at universities on other worlds. Trade agreements were opening new markets for Earth goods while bringing exotic products from distant planets. June had settled into his role as cultural advisor to the diplomatic team. His office in the diplomatic wing had a view of Earth and the steady stream of ships coming and going from the space station. On the wall hung a framed photo of June with his mother, taken on the day she was declared fully recovered from her illness, thanks to advanced medical treatments now available through the Alliance. Today was special. The Galactic Alliance Council representatives were visiting Earth for the first time, and June was helping coordinate their visit. He checked his schedule on his comm device. The representatives would arrive in 2 hours. Everything needed to be perfect. A knock at his door interrupted his thoughts. It was Yuna, now the lead diplomat for human-Moradin relations. "Ready for the big day?" she asked with a smile. "As ready as I'll ever be," June replied. "I still can't believe the Council chose Earth for their annual meeting. We've only been members for 6 months. They wanted to see humanity in our natural habitat," Yuna said, "and Ambassador Krill specifically requested it. He's become quite the advocate for Earth and the Alliance." June nodded. "He's been a good friend to humanity." He looked down at his desk where a small gift box sat. "I have something for him. Do you think it's appropriate?" "What is it?" Yuna asked curiously. June opened the box to reveal a set of eating tools, similar to those used by Moradins but with subtle modifications. "I worked with a human engineer and a Moradin artisan to design these. They're balanced to be stable even with trembling hands. Ambassador Krill can use them without assistance." Yuna's eyes widened. "June, that's perfect. It honors his age and status while acknowledging his physical needs. The exact right balance." "That's what I was hoping," June said, closing the box. "I wanted to thank him for everything he's done for Earth, for me." "He'll appreciate it," Yuna assured him. "Now let's go over the final arrangements for the Council's visit." They spent the next hour reviewing schedules and security protocols. The Council representatives would visit several cities on Earth, meeting with human leaders and ordinary citizens alike. Then they would return to the space station for the formal Alliance meeting. As they finished, June's comm device buzzed with a message. To his surprise, it was from Manager Hun, his former boss at the restaurant. "June, I hope this isn't a bad time. I heard the Alliance representatives are visiting today. I wanted to wish you luck. Also, I've been thinking about our conversation from a few months ago. I've made some changes at the restaurant that I'd like to show you, if you have time. Best regards, Hun." June showed the message to Yuna. "What do you think he means by changes?" "Only one way to find out," Yuna said. "We have a little time before the representatives arrive." "Why don't you go see?" Curious, June made his way to Celestial Plate. As he entered, he was greeted by the familiar sights and sounds of the restaurant, the clinking of dishes, the murmur of conversations in multiple languages, the delicious smells from the kitchen. Manager Han spotted him immediately and hurried over. "June, thank you for coming. You look well." He gestured at June's diplomatic uniform. "The new job agrees with you." "It's been interesting," June admitted. "Different from serving food, but in some ways the same. Both are about making people feel welcome and respected." "That's actually related to why I asked you here," Manager Han said. "After you left, I did a lot of thinking about our rules and protocols, about why we have them and when they should be flexible." He gestured around the restaurant. I'd like to show you something. He led June through the dining area. As they walked, June noticed something different. The staff were interacting with alien customers in ways that would have been against the rules when he worked there. A server was showing a Breen tourist how to use human utensils. Another was explaining menu items to a group of Tatterans, helping them identify foods that would be safe for their digestive systems. "What's going on?" June asked. "I thought the rule was never to interfere with alien dining customs." "We've revised our approach," Manager Han said proudly. "We now train our staff to recognize when customers might need assistance and how to offer it respectfully. We call it the June Protocol." "The what?" June stopped walking, startled. Manager Han looked slightly embarrassed. "Well, after what happened with you and Ambassador Krill and then Earth joining the Alliance, your story became quite well known. People talk about how one simple act of kindness changed everything. I realized that we had been too rigid in our rules. Sometimes compassion is more important than protocol." He led June to a small plaque on the wall near the entrance. It read, "The June Protocol. Respect cultures but never hesitate to offer dignified assistance when needed. Kindness transcends all boundaries." June stared at the plaque, speechless, his name on the wall of the restaurant that had fired him. It was surreal. "I hope you don't mind," Manager Han said, misinterpreting June's silence. "We can change the name if you prefer." "No," June said quickly. "I'm just surprised, honored." "You showed us a better way," Manager Han said simply. "The restaurant has actually become more popular with alien customers since we implemented these changes. They appreciate the respectful assistance." He smiled. "We've even had Moradans requesting specific servers who they know will help them if needed, without making a fuss about it." Before June could respond, his comm device buzzed urgently. It was Yuna. "June, where are you? The Alliance representatives are arriving early. We need you at the docking bay now." "I'll be right there," June promised. He turned to Manager Han. "I have to go. Trudy calls." "Of course," Manager Han said. "Thank you for coming." "And June?" "I'm sorry about firing you. It turned out well for everyone, but still I was wrong." "No hard feelings," June assured him. "As you said, it turned out well." As June hurried to the docking bay, he thought about the plaque. The June Protocol. It seemed so strange to have his name associated with something important. He was just a person who had tried to do the right thing. The docking bay was bustling with activity when he arrived. The diplomatic team was lined up to greet the Alliance representatives. Yuna motioned for June to take his place beside her. "Just in time," she whispered as he joined her. "Ambassador Krill is leading the delegation." The ship docked and the representatives began to disembark. First came Ambassador Krill, looking dignified despite his age and trembling hands. Behind him came delegates from a dozen different worlds, some humanoid, others wildly different in form. All were dressed in their formal attire, creating a parade of colors and textures that represented the diversity of the Galactic Alliance. June stood tall as the Earth delegation welcomed the visitors with a formal greeting. Commander Park made a short speech about Earth's gratitude for being included in the Alliance. Then it was time to escort the representatives to their quarters to rest. Before the evening's reception, June found himself walking alongside Ambassador Krill. The elderly, Moradan moved slowly but steadily. "It is good to see you again." "June Kim," Ambassador Krill said. "You appear to have adapted well to diplomatic life." "I'm still learning," June said honestly. "But yes, I enjoy the work." "Your work has made a difference," Ambassador Krill said. "The protocols you've helped develop for human-Moradan interactions have been most effective. Our peoples understand each other better now." "I just try to explain things from both perspectives," June said modestly, "to help humans see beyond Moradan formality and to help Moradans understand human informality." "A valuable skill," Ambassador Krill observed. "One that more species should develop." He glanced at June. "I have heard that your approach is spreading. The June Protocol, I believe it is called." June felt his face grow warm. "You heard about that? It's just something my old restaurant is doing. Teaching staff to offer help respectfully." "It is more than that," Ambassador Krill said. "Several stations across the galaxy have adopted similar approaches. The principle is being applied not just to dining but to all forms of interspecies interaction." "Really?" June was amazed. "I had no idea." Ideas spread quickly in the Alliance, especially good ones. The old Moradan's eyes twinkled. You have started something important, young human. A shift in how different species interact with one another. They reached Ambassador Krill's quarters. Before entering, the Moradin turned to June once more. There is an ancient saying among my people, he said. The smallest ripple of kindness can create waves across the universe. Your simple act of compassion 6 months ago has proven this true once again. That evening, Earth hosted a formal reception for the Alliance representatives. The Grand Hall of the space station was decorated with symbols from all member worlds. The best food and drink from Earth was served alongside delicacies from other planets. Musicians played gentle background music as delegates mingled. June circulated through the crowd, making introductions and ensuring that everyone was comfortable. He had come a long way from the nervous waiter who had been fired for helping an alien. June wiped the sweat from his forehead as he balanced 3 plates on his arm. The restaurant was busier than usual today. Celestial Plate was the most famous restaurant on Earth's first space station. People from all over the galaxy came to eat here. Table 12 needs water, called Manager Han from across the room. June nodded and hurried to get a pitcher of water. He had worked at Celestial Plate for 3 years now. The pay was good, and he got to meet beings from all corners of the universe. Today, the restaurant was hosting several important guests, including a group of Moradins. The Moradins were tall, blue-skinned aliens with 4 arms and large eyes. They were known across the galaxy for 2 things, their pride and their power. They controlled many important trade routes and had advanced technology that humans could only dream of. They were also known for refusing help of any kind. To a Moradin, accepting help was the same as admitting weakness. As June served drinks to a human family, he noticed something from the corner of his eye. At the far end of the restaurant, an elderly Moradin was having trouble eating. His 4 hands shook as he tried to pick up his eating tools. Food kept falling back onto his plate. The other Moradins at the table did not help him. In their culture, offering help would be an insult. June knew the rules. The employee handbook was very clear. Staff must never interfere with alien dining customs. Manager Han had emphasized this rule many times. Some species will leave and never come back if you offend them, he would say during staff meetings. And the Moradins are our most important customers. But as June watched the elderly alien struggle, something in his heart hurt. The old Moradin's eyes showed frustration and maybe a hint of shame. June looked around. Manager Han was busy talking to the chef. No one else seemed to notice the old alien's problem. Before he could talk himself out of it, June walked over to the Moradin's table. He bowed slightly, keeping his eyes down in respect. "Excuse me, honored guest," June said quietly. "I notice you are having difficulty. Perhaps I could assist?" The table went silent. The other Moradins stared at June with their large eyes. One of them, wearing ornate clothing that marked him as an official, looked ready to speak. But the elderly Moradin raised one trembling hand to stop him. The old Moradin studied June for a long moment. Then, to everyone's surprise, he nodded once. "That would be acceptable," he said in a raspy voice. Moving carefully, June adjusted the special Moradin eating tools in the elder's hands. He showed him a slightly different way to hold them that would work better with his shaking hands. "My grandmother had trembling hands too," June explained softly. "She taught me this trick." The elderly Moradin tried the new grip. This time he successfully brought food to his mouth. A look of relief passed over his face. "Thank you," he said so quietly that only June could hear. June bowed again and was about to walk away when a hand clamped down on his shoulder. It was Manager Han, and his face was dark with anger. "What are you doing?" Manager Han hissed. "Come with me, now." June followed his manager to the back office, his stomach tight with worry. The office was small and plain, with just a desk and 2 chairs. Awards and certificates covered one wall. Manager Han closed the door and turned to face June. "Do you know what you just did?" Manager Han asked, his voice low but sharp. "I was just helping. You interfered with a Moradin. Do you have any idea how serious this is?" They could file a formal complaint. They could stop coming here altogether. But he was struggling, June tried to explain. He couldn't eat. "He accepted my help." Manager Han shook his head. "That doesn't matter. You broke the most important rule we have. What if this gets back to their embassy? What if this turns into a diplomatic incident?" "Do you know who that elder was?" June shook his head. "That was Ambassador Krill. He's not just any Moradin, he's one of their highest officials. And you treated him like he needed help, like he was weak." Manager Han sat down at his desk and pulled out a tablet. His fingers moved across the screen as he pulled up June's employee file. I'm sorry, June, but I have no choice. Your employment is terminated, effective immediately. June felt like the floor had dropped out from under him. You're firing me? But I was just trying to be kind. Kindness doesn't matter when it comes to interspecies relations. Rules matter. Protocols matter. Manager Han's voice softened slightly. Look, I know you meant well, but this job isn't just about serving food. It's about respecting different cultures, even when we don't understand them. I can't have staff who make their own rules. Please, June said. I need this job. My mother's medical bills. I'm sorry. The decision is final. Manager Han handed him a tablet. Sign here to acknowledge your termination. You'll receive 2 weeks' pay. Clean out your locker and turn in your uniform before you leave. June's hands trembled as he signed the tablet. 3 years of work gone in an instant. All because he couldn't ignore someone who needed help. He handed the tablet back to Manager Han and walked out of the office without another word. In the employee locker room, June changed out of his uniform and into his regular clothes. As he packed his few personal items into a bag, the door opened. It was Subin, another waiter and June's friend. Is it true? Subin asked, her eyes wide. Han fired you? June nodded, not trusting himself to speak. That's not fair. You were just being nice. Apparently being nice to the wrong alien can cost you your job, June said bitterly. He closed his locker for the last time. Don't worry about it. I'll find something else. But what about your mother? I know you've been helping with her medical treatments. June tried to smile, but it didn't reach his eyes. I'll figure something out. I always do. Subin looked like she wanted to say more, but another server called her name. I have to go back. My tables are waiting. She hesitated, then gave June a quick hug. Call me later, okay? Maybe my cousin can help you find a new job. Thanks, June said. He watched as Subin hurried back to work, then shouldered his bag and headed for the exit. As June was about to leave the restaurant, he passed by the Moradin table one last time. The elderly Ambassador Krill was eating slowly but successfully using the technique June had shown him. For a brief moment, their eyes met. The ambassador gave a small nod, which June returned before walking out. Outside in the station's main concourse, June found a bench and sat down. The space station was bustling with activity. Humans and aliens of all kinds walked past, some in a hurry, others taking their time to look at shop windows. Above them, through the massive transparent dome, Earth could be seen, a beautiful blue ball against the blackness of space. June took a deep breath. What was he going to do now? Jobs on the space station were competitive. It might take weeks to find a new one, and his savings wouldn't last that long. Maybe he would have to go back to Earth, but that would mean leaving his mother alone on the station. His comm device buzzed. June expected it to be Subin, but the ID on the screen was unfamiliar. He answered it anyway. Hello, is this June Kim? A woman's voice asked. Yes, this is June. My name is Yuna from the Earth Diplomatic Office. I was in Celestial Plate a short while ago and witnessed what happened. June frowned. Are you calling to tell me I caused a diplomatic incident? The woman laughed softly. No, not at all. In fact, I'd like to speak with you in person. Could you meet me at the observation deck in 30 minutes? Why? June asked, suspicious. I don't understand what this is about. Let's just say that kindness is noticed more often than you might think, Yuna said cryptically. Will you come? June looked back at the restaurant, then down at his comm device. What did he have to lose? I'll be there, he said. Excellent. I'll see you soon. The call ended, leaving June more confused than before. Why would someone from the Earth Diplomatic Office want to talk to him? And what did she mean about kindness being noticed? With nowhere else to go and nothing better to do, June stood up and began walking toward the observation deck. Behind him, in the restaurant, a very different conversation was taking place among the Moradins, one that would change June's life and humanity's future forever.